Hey, what's up guys? Today I want to show you a quick video on how to export your files when you're stemming large quantities of tracks in one single click of a button through the exporting of the cycle markers. So what will happen is if I press the render button right now, as long as all of these are selected, which they are, I can press export and they're going to be named in a certain way, in a certain fashion where they will have its own custom wording after this one right here, and it'll look like for instance this BGM 66 beats per minute version 1, and then FXU, full mix, else choir, everything will be listed after that point. So if you're familiar with Cubase and how that works with their batch exporting, this is an alternative way to export your files with one click of a button. For those who work with companies like Velvet Green Music, Gothic Storm, Almadea, I'm just throwing out the ones I work for, but you know, all of them have their own methods and how they want you to deliver those tracks as a package. And so if you work for multiple libraries, you got to have a method that will work for all these companies, and I found that this one does. So I hope this helps. I'll show you how to go about that in the process, and if you have any questions, you know, feel free to leave some comments below. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to go about this. The only downside, I guess, is it's a little bit time consuming on the front end to get it started and get it working. But really, it's so easy to just press one button, not worry about it, and read a book, go exercise for an hour, come back, and it's all ready to go for you. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this. And you'll see here the automation actually was listed or stays. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete that as well, so we can start fresh. So start fresh, make sure that there's no automation in the front or what's after your main track. Now it wouldn't hurt to start out with saving a new version. So go here, save as, call it whatever you want. With this new version, just know that this is like your finalized version. All your notes, all the automation is set to where you want it to be. All right, that's the very first thing. You always want to make sure that you have nothing that you're going to change, because once you get going with this, it's going to be really messy if you go back and change a note. So just make sure that everything is set where you want it. Going to this next step, make sure that all of your MIDI events and also audio events are set up to the starting length and the end length, so that they're exactly the same from each one. If that is done correctly, you'll see here, I'm going to zoom over to the other end, you'll see that there's a folder track that's housing everything, including my tempo, signature, and my cycle markers. Okay, so everything is housed in there. So the next step is go to your cycle marker. I just named it sections, and then I have a shortcut. It's let's see, W to set the locators. Once you have the locators set from the starting to the end, then you can click this button, add cycle marker. By default, it's set to the ID 1, and then you can set a description by going inside of here and pulling up this window. Or a little quicker tip is on the inspector tab, you can actually put the description inside of here. But by default, it looks like this. So you'll have a position and then the ID, or actually the description. So it looks like this by default. But you can change that just by dragging that over. And then now you have the description in front. Let's call this the full mix. Or call it whatever you want, you know, however the company that you work for wants you to label it as. And that's ready to go. All right, so essentially you have everything all housed in this folder. Go ahead and press copy. So I just did Control C on my PC here. It's just going to take a little bit of time, so be patient when you press it, the Control C. That for some reason is just takes a while because of the data, but after a while it'll be ready. Okay, this is ready now. So this is where the magic happens, guys. Let me try that again. Let's delete this. Make sure everything's deleted, guys. Okay, so this is where the magic happens. So this is where I'm ready to paste. So I'm going to go here. So make sure you highlight on the very top where that folder is. Don't paste down here ever, because what's going to happen is it's going to actually create duplicates of all these files, and it's going to take like 10 minutes for it to happen. So yeah, just make sure you're clicked on this folder tab. Boom, paste. Okay, and just keep going. I'm going to go over here. Make sure you're clicked on this individual tab or track, and then keep going. Okay, give it a little bit of space between each section so you can kind of see where the division is. Doesn't have to be a lot of gap. If you run out of space as you do this, then you can always go here and go to the project setup window and just add like an hour's worth, or I have about almost 2 hours worth of duration, but you'll need that if you're doing a lot of stems. Okay, so I have about 10 more tracks that I've added. All right, you'll notice that they're all exactly the same in terms of the automation, which is really important. You want to just double check your automation is good and identical from each other. Okay, great. So double check that real quick. The next step is to maybe clean it up. So go here. I'm going to hide all. Great. Oh yeah, and some of these tracks have multiple outputs, so let's go get rid of that. Okay, so now you have all these tracks lined side by side, up and down. Next step is you can go ahead and mute these events. I like to go inversely and then unmute the ones that you want. So I just press M for muting the events. I'm not sure if that's the default key command. So whatever it's that button is, make sure it's all whited out and muted. Okay, so next step is, let's say I want to do woodwinds. I can go ahead and do like that. I have it all color coded anyways and arranged by somewhat by score or conductor score. But anyways, so what you do here is then you can go to the sections and change that over to the new name. Let's call it woodwinds. All right, now you see what I'm doing. I'm basically creating a matrix from top to bottom. So it's like a 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. And I'm gonna go diagonal, and it'll look kind of like this. Let's say I want a choir for the next one. I can go here, choir, and let's say metals for this one. Unmute that. Go to the next section here. Let's change that to metals. Okay, so now I can go over here to this track. Let's listen to some of the woodwinds. Here's some choir. Here's some cymbals. Okay, great. So all of these, as you'll see, is only playing the tracks that you want, and you're labeling them so that when you press the render button here, so as you'll see, the cycle marker has the label names. All of a sudden you can press export audio and it will create a naming scheme where it looks like this. So right here in the settings, I can go the name, cycle marker, and everything looks nice and organized and systematic. So that's my tip for you guys. again, this hits a lot of birds with one stone in a sense, because I've done other ways, and some of you might be asking, why don't you just use Cubase's feature of this multiple or batch exporting function? Well, I've done that a lot actually with group channels, and you can route channels by groups with their signal chains, but it still didn't give me a lot of control. You had to configure your stems in a certain way. It just didn't have that flexibility that I wanted. And this one here, it just makes sense. You can go quickly once you have a good flow of how to do it. So I hope that saves you guys a lot of time in the long run, so that you look when the delivery process happens and you're ready to deliver all those files over to the company, you're not going to be stressing or just griping and moaning and groaning while you're doing this. You can just set it and then forget it. Come back after about an hour of everything, all those tracks being rendered, and then you'll have something nice and pretty where you can import those tracks back in place. So I'm gonna show you what those look like here. So these are the tracks that I rendered into, and I just re-imported back into session. You'll see here that I have, let me put these above here, but these are my alternate full mixes. I'm gonna go cycle through them. This has no vocals, this one does. I have flutes, oboe, bassoon, here's some clarinets. Right. Okay, good. So anyways, with one click of a button, you're basically making all those files happen, and it will take probably like 40 minutes to an hour depending on how many tracks you have and whatnot. But if it's a full orchestral score like this, yes, you definitely want to maximize your time with what you are doing at work. So again, I like to automate as much as I can. This is a low form of automation that will help your life drastically. And with that being said, thank you for watching. If you like more videos and see what you're seeing here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also, I am offering private lessons one-on-one remotely through Zoom. And what you'll get out of that is more tricks and tips that is catered to you. So if you have specific questions on how to do film scoring, I'll show you all the things I've learned over the years. If you have any questions on music technology, how to mix and master better, how to route your stuff, how to create music with samples, sample instruments and sample libraries, you can hit me up at my email. It's lessons@sohncompositions.com. The email is listed in the descriptions below, and I hope to talk to you guys if you're interested. All right, well, thanks for watching. I will see you later.